All right, so in this video, I'm going to go ahead and do a demo for assignment 1.2, and that's all about relative coordinates. So if I go back to up here in my workbook where we talk about relative coordinates right here, I can see that relative coordinates are based on the last point entered. So you want to use relative coordinates when you know the location of a point relative to the previous point. And we use that using this at sign and then the x value, comma, the y value. So if I go back to my assignment 1.2, I don't necessarily need to fill this out, and so I will not. I'm going to take a snip of this, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into my AutoCAD workspace. So I will paste it right here. And then once again, the first thing we want to do is create this outside box. So I'm going to use my polyline. I'm going to start at 0, 0, and I'm just going to create the box using the same thing I did before. So I'll do number sign, 10, comma 0. Oops, I'm going to escape that because I think I put 1. But the reason I want to use the same method is because I know all the coordinate spots relative to this 0, 0. So that makes it easy. So 0, comma 0, number 10, comma 0, number sign 10, comma 7.75, number sign 0, comma 7.75. And actually, let's say I did mess up like I did previously and I did comma 7, right? So now it's a little bit wonky. I can do, if I look at my command line, I see it's giving me an option for undo. So I can go ahead and click this, or I can do U and spacebar to select undo. So I'm going to do undo. Now it brings me back to where I just was. And I could do 10, I'm sorry, 0, comma 7.75 now. And then back to 0. Okay. All right, so now my start point is right here at 3, 2. And I'm going to once again work counterclockwise. So I'll go into polyline and I'm going to start at 3, 2. So that brings me right here. And so now this point relative to the point I just put in is 2 units in the x direction and 0 units in the y direction because I haven't gone up anything from this line. So I'm going to do at sign 2, comma 0. All right, and then this point right here, this is going to be 0 units in the x direction because it's not changing from right here. And it's going 0.5 units in the y direction. So now I'm going to do at 0, comma 0.5. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of these. So now this one is at 1.82 in the x and 0 in the y. The one after that is, so relative to this point, it's 0 in the x, and then now it is negative 0.5 in the y because I'm going down 0.5 units in the y direction. There we go. So at 0.68, comma 0, and then at, and see, notice it doesn't even matter where my mouse is because it's just going to go to the point I'm specifying. So now I'm at 0 in the x direction and then 3.16 in the y. And then at negative 1 in the y direction and 0 in the x. I'm sorry. it was, let me escape that. And I'll go back here. So I'm going to say at -1. Is it 1? Yeah, -1 in the x direction. Let me try it one more time. At -1, comma, 0. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go at 0, comma, 1.34 at -0.5, comma, 0. And so I must not be selecting it hard enough on my keyboard because sometimes it's not registering. Okay, so at -0.5, comma, 0. Then at, let's see, now I'm right here. I want to go -1, and then it's going down 1.34. So at -1, comma, -1.34. At -1, comma, 1.34. And then -1, comma, 0. -1, comma, 0. So now I'm here. I want to go right to this point. So 0. So I'm going to say at 0, comma, 1.58. Oops, and that went in the wrong direction. So now I have this line, and I need to delete this part. So I'm going to do X to explode it, and then I will delete this line segment. So I selected it, and then I press delete on my keyboard. Okay, and so I will start right here again, and at 0, comma, because it's relative to this point that I just specified right here, and then that's -1.58. Then at -0.5, comma, 0. At 0, comma, -0.5. Then at 1.5, comma, 0. Then at, so I'm right here now. It's going to be 0, comma, -0.86. Then I'll do my at sign again, and it's going to be 1.5, comma, 0. Oops, let me actually undo that because it's not 1.5, it's -1.5. So -1.5, comma, 0. I didn't see it come up, so I'm going to try it again. At -1.5, comma, 0. And then now I need to put in for this point. So this point is -1 in the x direction and -1.06 in the y direction. So at -1, comma, negative 1.06. And at 1.5, comma 0. And so this is a good way to make sure your drawing is accurate. Is it going to meet up with this spot here? So I'm going to say at 0, comma 0.5. Oops, and it did not because it should have been negative 0.5. I'll once again explode that, delete that, and start here. I'm going to say 0, comma, oops, it should be the at sign, at 0, comma, negative 0.5. There we go. And it's a little bit off because it looks like I did not select the endpoint right here. So I could delete all this and redo it. That would be great practice. I'm going to move it over though because I'm not wanting to redo all of that work. And I'm going to use my move command to do that. So I'm going to select move. I will specify this endpoint and I'm going to move it over to this endpoint. And now let me see if that matched up. And it did. So this is now correct and accurate. All right, and so that is how you do assignment 1.2 about relative coordinates. Oh, and sorry, before I exit, let me go ahead and save this. Where am I? Sorry. Go to my USB.